Iki is a boy with a kind heart, but his family considers him a disappointment. He was born into the Kwogen family, renowned for its magic and power, but he couldn't use magic. As soon as his family discovered this, they turned their backs on him, and he decided to run away from his family. However, he got lost in a snowstorm in the mountains until he passed out. Should he return home and suffer, or should he accept his hunger right there? Suddenly, Ryouma, the legendary samurai hero of Japan and his great-grandfather, finds him. Grandfather tells Iki not to give up, not to surrender. Ryouma knows that Iki can't use magic, so he teaches him the ways of the samurai with a sword. A new voice opens up to Iki, one of honor and courage, and not of magic and power. This is when he makes a promise that he will become as strong as his grandfather. Years of training pass, and he is accepted into the Academy of Magic Knights. The intensive training finally pays off in the world, they say. People can transform almonds, and those who wield them are called Magic Knights. They spend 2 years at the academy, but magic still doesn't come easily to Iki. Everyone still calls him a failed knight, including his controlling family who does everything to prevent him from becoming a knight. However, he has an extraordinary talent for something else, the sword. He is called the secret god of the sword because he is the best in his noble art at the school. However, the Kwogen family still refuses to acknowledge Iki's worth and pressures the school to keep him on the sidelines for a year. But things change when a new director arrives and establishes a new rule: the knights will no longer use magic. Not only magic, but also physical skills. The new director, Kuono, gets rid of the staff on the Diki family's side and makes a promise to Iki. If he wins the school tournament, he will receive his diploma as a magic knight. But who is his first opponent he must face? It's Kurihara, the very person he humiliated last year. Not because Kurihara was better, but because it was an elaborate plan by the former director who sought any excuse to send him here. Iki refuses to accept the situation this year. He studies every move of his opponent as the match begins. It's Kurihara who takes the spotlight, with the crowd chanting his name. But Iki refuses to be intimidated this time. He faces a specialist in invisible magic as the battle begins. The scene transforms into a digital forest, with Kurihara, the forest hunter, launching an offensive with his skill. It becomes a dance of dodges and sudden attacks, with Kurihara shooting arrows from hidden corners. However, Iki doesn't give up and spots the source of the arrows. He jumps right into the fray. But Kurihara has a trick up his sleeve: his arrows become invisible. The shots continue, frustrating and angering Iki. And what does the crowd do? The spectators mock and say he has no chance of winning the tournament. But he takes their taunts and turns them into motivation to prove them wrong. He rises and begins to recall the rhythm of Kurihara's strikes, taking mental notes and timing each invisible arrow. Now, he is ready to counterattack. The presenter explains to the crowd that Iki possesses a unique ability. The steel blade observes his opponent, analyzes techniques, and perfects them through his mastery of the sword. He can even replicate the most powerful techniques. But this time, he achieves something even deeper. He calls it perfect vision. This ability allows him to immerse himself in Kurihara's thoughts and predict his strategy before it's even implemented. Suddenly, the roles are reversed. Iki is not a mere player in this forest, he is the hunter. Kurihara realizes the situation and fear engulfs him. He begs Iki to spare him, but in a fierce final move, Iki creates a massive explosion. It stops just as it brushes Kurihara's face, winning him the first round of the tournament. The competition continues with 12 more rounds. Rapid victories one after another, the weakest in the school can no longer be stopped. However, just as Iki is about to return home, a problem arises. The ethics committee, a puppet of his own Kwogen family, begins to create a new face for Tiki. His father no longer considers him a failure but refuses to acknowledge his strength. He keeps fighting and winning until the count reaches 19 victories. The ethics committee delivers the final blow. His last opponent is the student council president, Kasa, the strongest student in the academy. If he loses this battle, his dream of becoming a magical knight will fade away. It is the fight the world has been waiting for, broadcasted to every corner of the planet. Among the spectators, Kasa is present, observing the unfolding drama. But a twist occurs. Kasa announces a risky disqualification for Iki if he does not show up in the arena within the next 15 minutes. Confusion spreads like wildfire. The headmistress doesn't understand. After all, it was Kasa who was supposed to bring Iki into the arena. Kasa fears the possibility of Iki's victory and decides to lock him up in the meantime. Iki's battle has already begun, but the prison bars cannot hold him, and he escapes. The final selection meeting is approaching rapidly. Will a small Latin boy be able to defeat the most formidable opponent in the academy? The challenges seem insurmountable, but hope appears. His great-grandfather emerges, giving him the courage and strength to take each step forward. And when he enters the arena, cheers engulf him. It is time for the ultimate confrontation. Iki and Kasa have been waiting for this moment since they first met, and Iki immediately plunges into action, unleashing his most powerful skill, Lithashura. The crowd is left speechless by this unexpected maneuver. Lithashura is a formidable technique that requires Iki to mobilize all his energy, abandoning his self-preservation instinct in a minute of adrenaline rush. He manages to tap into a power that surpasses comprehension. But Kasa reacts. She triggers her electromagnetic technique, creating a powerful magnetic field around her sword, utilizing her lightning ability. With a quick and precise movement, she strikes an enemy with a lethal blow. Each has a cause to defend. As they release their powers, they collide with all their might. His vision begins to blur, and he realizes that someone is superior to him. Nevertheless, he throws himself forward, risking condensing all his strength into one explosive second. It's a move his body can't resist. The wave of energy is so intense that his eyes widen and his mouth opens, but it doesn't slow him down. His body doesn't break, his muscles don't tear. His willpower drives him to continue. The crowd eagerly awaits the clash of their powers. And then the unimaginable happens. Kasa's sword shatters under the weight of Iki's single strike, falling to the ground defeated against all expectations. Iki emerges as the victor of the final battle. From now on, he can no longer be considered weak, for he is now the strongest on the world stage. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, comment, and leave a like. Thank you for watching this video.